is 7. I'm gonna wait for 1 more minute. What do you say?
Yeah.
1 more minute to join in. Alrighty. Cool. Let's start. Welcome everyone, and many thanks for listening in on the second episode of Envision Presents Innovators Channel. Today I have Sam from The Blind Life with me. Sam is, he has the YouTube channel about Sam's life and passions for mobile technology and low vision accessibility. Basically, am I right, Sam?
That is correct.
And everything that you post online is really with visual impaired in mind, right? It's for and with visually impaired.
Yeah, the majority. Early on, I was posting a lot of nonsense, but the last few years, yeah, it's strictly about blindness.
Yeah, I mean, you have to start somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, first of all, like I wanted to just say, because I think you are a huge inspiration for content creators in accessibility. I mean, I'm doing it right now, creating content. We have this webinar and we're talking about things, but it's not easy. I mean, if you look at hosting it is not easy. Thinking about the topics is not easy. Making sure it's accessible to everyone is also not easy. So I'm super excited and I would love to learn more from you and your view on accessibility in general. Then just so that everyone knows, I have Karthik, one of our co-founders, with me here today. He is going to be our tech support and taking care of the questions. So everyone, if you have a question, just put it in the Q&A and we will make sure to basically answer your questions here on the show. So Sam, first tell me about what you do. So I know what you do. I bet a lot of people that are listening in right now also know what you do, but how do you see what you do? How would you, describe it?
Sure. Yeah. Well, my main thing, I guess, is I make videos on YouTube. That's probably what most people know me for. The Blind Life YouTube channel. I've been doing that since 2013. So for a while now. And as you said, well, like I said, at the beginning, it was just whatever I thought of, I would make a video about. But now it's heavily focused on assistive technology mainly. I try to find out what's out there, what's available for the community, the low vision community, and try to get that information out. It's a shame that not a lot of people, or some people, don't know what's available for us.
Yeah.
And so that's the goal of the channel, is to get that information out so that people can be aware of it and decide if it's something that they need.
Which is super valuable, I assume, for people that would need that. But what is accessibility to you? Maybe that's also a good one. Like, what does it mean to you in your daily life?
Accessibility just means I can do anything I want to do. And it may not be the same way that you do it,
Mhm.
but I can still complete that task if I want to. And if I can't, then we got to figure out why. There's a problem there. There's a disconnect. And if I can't do it, then who do I need to talk to make this happen? Because that's not right. I should be able to do it just like anybody else. And a lot of that is kind of thinking outside of the box and trying to find a different way to do it. That's the goal of the channel, is to let people know that you can do just about anything you want to do. You just might have to do it a slightly different way than you did before. And I always say that there's a caveat, you know, that's within reason. Of course, I'm never going to be a fighter pilot. You know, there's certain things that I just can't do. I probably shouldn't do brain surgery. But, you know, within reason,
I shouldn't do brain surgery either.
Yeah, I know, right?
There's restrictions, yes.
Although really, if I just watched a couple of videos on YouTube, I'm sure I could figure it out.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, that's super valuable, right? So we're of course, we're in AI, and we try to solve problems and
Right.
understand what the issues are and see what we can do to make lives better and easier and quicker, sometimes even just faster.
Oh, yeah.
What are the technologies lately that you have stumbled up on that you're like, this is really something that is just this is amazing?
Well, a lot of these things, they've been around for a while, but they're just getting better and better and better. I mean, we were just talking about the Envision AI app. You know, it's come a long way since the first time I saw it and tried it out. You know, certain devices, they're getting more smaller, they're getting more streamlined, more portable. You know, the desktop digital magnifiers that a lot of people are familiar with. You know, when I was growing up, the thing was a giant TV that sat on my desk. It took up a huge space. And now literally my smartphone can do the exact same feature functionality in a much smaller package.
Yes.
So, you know, getting faster. Right. Yeah. And then there's some really new emerging technology coming out that's still in development. That's using like robotics that could help assist the visually impaired, you know, bionic eyes, prosthetic eyeballs. I mean, just some really, really cool stuff on the horizon.
Definitely. I read about it lately, and I read something that it was gonna be out for consumers in like 5 years or something. How do you feel about waiting, or waiting is maybe not the right word, but how do you feel about waiting those 5 years?
Well, if they need that 5 years to get it right, then I'm happy to wait.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah. I mean, we've been waiting for flying cars and things like that forever. So I guess that's we just have to wait.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. And so you're from the USA. I'm in the
Yes.
Netherlands. I found you. I was like, you know what, this guy, I need to speak with him because what he's doing is super interesting. So basically, you have an international audience, if I may say so. How important is inclusive design and accessibility in the US, but also internationally? And what do you see about it? Like the things that you do are for an international audience, I assume? Or do you have more like the US in mind? And how do you see the cultural thing in that?
No, it definitely is an international channel. I was speaking to someone from Australia earlier today. I get emails from all over the world. I was just doing a Zoom call with someone in Israel last week. I'm talking to you guys today. So it's really, I'm very fortunate that I get to visit all these amazing places, even if it is just virtually. But you know, one thing I've noticed that certain areas are better in the world for accessibility and inclusivity. Some places need a lot of help, and I feel really bad. I get emails from places like India a lot, and they say there's nothing here. We don't have anything, you know. And I feel so bad. And I feel bad because there's not really anything I can do about it personally. I just wish that things were better I wish everywhere was as accessible as certain areas of the world.
Yes, definitely. If we talk, for example, about the Envision Glass, it's like it's basically our app, but then wearable. You have people from all over the world thinking totally different about how to use this product, and some say like, I don't even know if I can use it here. And then, I mean, we're here and we think, well, maybe not. Let's talk how we can make it optimal for
Right.
you. But yeah, it's very diverse, the world, in terms of accessibility. Definitely.
Yeah, and I wish it were possible. I mean, it's economics, right? It's not possible to have a product available everywhere in the world, at least not at the beginning. But I really wish it were. I mean, my vision impairment, someone living in India has the same vision impairment I do. It doesn't, it shouldn't matter that they live in a different part of the world to have access to certain devices and things like that. But maybe in the future, we just keep getting better. I think accessibility is getting better and better every year. So hopefully soon.
Yeah, and all the companies that started, like the cool startups that have these amazing ideas, they started not too long ago, like maybe from 5 to 3 years ago. So they also work hard in optimizing everything, of course. But no, definitely, I think it's a great goal to make sure that everyone can just do whatever they want.
Right. Yeah.
And now on to YouTube. Because, yes. So how do you do it? I think that's my main question, because yes, you have this information, and yes, you make these videos, and yes, it's also your personality, right? You're just very outgoing, I would say. But how do you make sure that it's all accessible and it's all relevant and interesting?
It's not easy, that's for sure.
No.
And I, anybody that tries to make videos on YouTube and tries to make a go at being consistent, quickly realizes that it's a lot of work. And then to throw in low vision on top of that, that just compounds the issues. In fact, I know a lot of people that they're like, oh, I'm gonna make a channel, I'm gonna put out videos, and I'm gonna get famous and all this, and then they put out like 3 or 4 videos, and then you never see them again because they realize how much work it is. And it's just a lot of, as far as how do you make it accessible, and you get better with practice. I mean, we already mentioned how everybody has to start somewhere, and generally when you start, you're going to be terrible. That's one of my tips that I give people. It's the most important thing is to start. If you want to start anything, just get going on it. Don't worry about being perfect, because it's going to be terrible at first. It just always is. You get better with practice. And then as far as, I have to be conscious also that a big majority of my viewers probably can't see me. They're just listening. Yeah. And so I have to be really good at audio describing as much as possible. So, if I'm doing, like, recently I've been doing a lot of software reviews. And so I'll be screen capturing my computer, and I'll be moving the mouse around, but I'll make sure, instead of saying, all right, click over here, I'll make sure to say, okay, we're going to click over on the left side of the screen towards the top, because they can't see where my mouse is going. Blind people hate when you say over here, over there.
Yeah, like what you're saying, of course.
Right. Yeah. So one of the a funny quote I heard from someone, I forget where, they said, saying over here, the only thing that tells me is it's not right here, or saying over there, the only thing that tells me is it's not right here. I have no idea where there is. But it's so true.
It is so true.
But it just comes with practice, the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. That's the other thing. A lot of people get kind of camera shy, and they freeze up, and we're gonna talk like this, and
Yeah.
you get more natural and more comfortable the more you do it.
And do you do everything at home? Do you have a studio? Like more practically, well, how does it look like?
Yeah, I'm sitting in my studio right here, which is actually just a fancy word for one of my guest bedrooms that I've turned into a studio. And yeah, I do unless I'm on location at a conference or something like that, everything is recorded here at home. I do everything myself. I get that question a lot. Who does your editing? I do all my editing, setting up the camera. I'm the on-screen talent, as I say.
Yeah.
And then and then I do all the editing and post-production and all that all by myself. So yeah. There's little tips and tricks for how to do it with vision impairment. But once again, it just goes back to, I'm a big believer in creating systems, creating systems for reducing the frustration and the aggravation when you're trying to do something. Well, if I have a system set up, then I'm not going to be frustrated. And so doing that and just taking your time, it's going to take you a lot longer. So just know that ahead of time and plan for it.
You mean it's going to take you a while anyway? So yeah, get set and go.
yeah. Because if I do a video, an average video might take me about 2 hours, 3 hours to record, just the recording part. But someone with average sight might be able to knock that out in half an hour, but it's going to take me 3-4 times longer because of the low vision. So I plan for it. I make sure I have enough time to do that.
Yeah, of course. And what are the specific things that you run into because you have low vision? How come?
Well, working with the camera, that's one of the difficult parts. Seeing the screen on the back, making sure I'm lined up in the shot, making sure I'm not too low and I'm cut off down here, or I'm not, you're just seeing my beard all in the screen.
Yeah.
I'm not over to the side too far, things like that. One of my tricks for that is I always shoot wide. So I shoot much wider than I intend it to be, so that when I go to edit it and I'm on my computer and I can zoom in with my screen magnifier and I can see it real close, then I can crop in and get my position exactly where I need it. So that's one of my little tricks for that. But setting up shots, lighting, I have recorded so many videos that I spend all this time recording it, and then I go back to edit it and realize that I was out of focus for the entire shot, the entire video. So I have to do it again, because it's one of those things when I'm looking on the back of the camera, it looks fine for me. I can't see it well enough to see if I'm in focus or not. Yeah. And sure enough, I wasn't. So little things like that.
Little frustrating, but you're doing it. I think that's super vibe. And do you have a structure how many videos, let's say a week, you want to publish?
Yeah, I'm down to just one video a week. I post my videos on Saturday mornings. It's anybody that does videos on YouTube or any kind of social media postings. You really want to, like, as you said, you want to get a schedule and be consistent. So I post mine Saturday mornings. I was doing 2 videos a week, but I also have a part-time job, and I'm married with children, so that time is very important to me. I don't want to spend all my time doing videos. So I'm down to 1 video a week, but post on Saturday mornings, spend Monday through Friday getting the video ready. I did 2 videos last week. I'm doing 2 videos again this week. Sometimes I'll get excited about an idea and want to put out the video, even if I already have one scheduled.
I like that though, because also a lot of people wait and have like the schedule, but if you're excited about it, just go ahead and do it. I think that's
yeah.
And where do you get your topics? Because I came up to you and I was like, Sam, I need to talk with you. But how do you, is it new tech that you read about, or what is it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, as I said, when I started, the analogy I always give is I just had ideas on a dartboard and I was just throwing darts, and whatever hit, I would make a video about it. So I I didn't have any structure. And I also was making random videos about whatever, you know, it wasn't even about vision impairment.
Yeah.
But a few years ago, I've always been excited about assistive technology and technology in general. I mean, I'm surrounded right now by smartphones and tablets and cameras and all kinds of things. So I've always had an interest in that. And then a few years ago, I became an assistive technology trainer at a nonprofit. So all of a sudden, I was surrounded by all this really cool assistive technology. So I started making videos about it. And that led into going to conferences. 2019, I traveled, I think, 9 different trips. One of them was a European trip. I went to the Czech Republic last year. That was a lot of fun. But so getting ideas from that. The nice thing about technology is it changes so quickly.
Yes.
So there's always something new to talk about. And computer software is changing, and they're always putting out updates for smartphones and things like that. So there's always new stuff to talk about. I'm also on several assistive technology like advisory boards, and I'm currently working on helping to create this new assistive technology online conference that's going to be happening in October, which I definitely want to talk to Envision about, possibly participating in that with us. So there's just a lot of ways to keep up to date with what's going on, and a lot of interesting information that I want to share with the community.
Yeah, that's really. I just want to say in between. So Tricia Smith, she just put in our Q&A. Sam, you're truly an inspiration to me. I live in the Dallas, Texas area, and I am one of 6 children, where 4 out of the 6 of us have Stargardt.
Wow.
Thanks for all you do. So that's a big thing for you, Sam.
Well, thank you very much. Stargardt is what I have too, and so that's pretty cool. Congratulations. That's what I always say.
Yeah, I do think that it is. You see it on like the reactions onto your videos and everything. People are just very thankful for what you do, and you bring it in a very very. It seems like a you way. It's just you telling about what you like and what you do. I know that a lot of people would also love to do this, create the videos and be more of an advisor or whatnot in the assistive technology industry. Even if they don't, because you said you're on advisory boards and everything. What kind of advice would you give these guys? How can you get there?
Well, like I said, the main thing is to just start doing something. You know, if you want to put out videos on YouTube, start a channel, get on there, start putting them out. If you want to be more connected in the assistive technology world, start calling different centers or different foundations or organizations and start getting your name out there. If we were living in a normal world right now, I would say start going to different conferences and conventions. That's a great way to get to like network with others in the same kind of field that you want to be in. It's a little difficult right now, but hopefully we'll get back there soon. Yeah. But once again, just start. That's the main goal or the main advice. A guy I really admire once said that you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. And it's so true. It's like, once again, you don't have to be perfect when you start get going, but you gotta, one foot in front of the other and get going before anything else will happen. And don't sweat the small stuff. Like I said, if you're wanting to put out videos, because that's what I know. So that's what my experience is. Don't worry about, if you're like, oh, I don't have the really cool camera, if I don't have the really big softbox lights and the really fancy microphone, don't worry about it. Use your smartphone. These things have great cameras and pretty good microphones nowadays. Sit yourself in front of a window. There's ways to do it without spending a lot of money. but if you want to do something, just get out there and do it.
But also that, right? Like if you're just started, just start with what you have. If you like it, then scale. But it's fine to just go ahead and start. I totally agree with that. Although sometimes I feel like it could be more difficult for people, especially in the video industry, like if they're more introvert.
Yeah, and that's, that's very true. There's a really phenomenal YouTuber. Her name is Kayla. I'm going to give her a shout out. Her YouTube channel is Kayla with a C, and she is self-admittedly says that she's not a very outgoing people person. But when she's recording her videos, she's sitting in a bedroom by herself talking to her phone. So, it's not the same. People get nervous when a camera's pointed at them because they keep thinking about all the people that might be watching them. But don't think about that. Just think about, I'm in a room by myself. I can say whatever I want to, and nobody's going to judge. It's a lot easier than standing on stage in front of 700 people.
Yes.
But the other thing too that I would strongly suggest or recommend people is, almost more importantly than content, is personality. I'm sure everybody has wanted to learn something, so they go on YouTube, they search for it, and then they start playing a video, and this guy's on there and he's talking like this, and today we're going to do this and that, and it's like, oh, I can't even listen to this. Click it off.
You feel like the presenter is falling asleep. How can I stay awake?
Exactly. So personality will make up for a lot of stuff. But then you can't go too much too. You can't be Mr. Radio. Hey everybody, my name's Sam. People don't like that either. Or
the commercial voice.
Yes. Yeah. I'm trying to sell you something. No, I don't want to buy.
No, just stay true to yourself.
Right.
That's a really good one. Let me see. I think we had somebody raising their hands. We have somebody in from South Africa. That's good to know.
Cool. Yeah.
Let me see.
So I'll tell you a little story while you're looking that up. Growing up, my sister is visually impaired too. Stargardt's, it's hereditary, so there is a chance that a sibling will have it as well, although it's a 1 in 4 chance. So that young lady that left a comment earlier, and she said she's 4, I think, out of 6 kids have it. That's pretty, that's not very common. But so growing up, my sister was the only other visually impaired person I knew. And it wasn't until I was in high school that I met one other person with low vision. And then it wasn't until, getting on YouTube and kind of finding myself in the VIP community that it's just blown up. I've met so many people. So people from South Africa, it's insane to me that, people from South Africa I have this connection with, and or Australia or the Netherlands. It's just so cool.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's just one big community.
It is, and it's growing.
Which is great. Okay, Absolutely. So I found Eve, and let me see. Oh, hey, this is interesting. One question. What are your thoughts on other upcoming platforms like TikTok in addition in creating content? Question from David.
So I have a love-hate relationship with TikTok. And I'll tell you why. Everybody is into TikTok right now. I mean, my daughter, I've got a 14-year-old daughter. She loves it. She puts stuff on there. My wife watches it. She doesn't post anything, but she loves watching it. I mean, TikTok is the new cool thing. But because it's a vertical video format, I can't do it. I can't watch it. I use my magnifier to watch videos on my phone and to interact with anything on my phone. I use my magnifier.
Yeah.
And so YouTube is fine because if I have the phone in portrait orientation, the YouTube video is just at the very top and I can watch it, no problem. But TikTok, it's so long, it takes up the entire screen. So I can't, I miss stuff whenever I'm trying to watch. I would love to do TikTok. I don't do them too much anymore, but I used to do little comedy skits and things on my channel. I have a whole series on my channel called Why It Sucks to Be Blind. And it's talking about just the ridiculous things like, you know, how many times a day can I smash my head into a cabinet because I didn't see it? It's like, come on, you know, it's just stupid. So I've done a lot of those types of things. And I think I would have a lot of fun on TikTok, but unfortunately, yes. I can't do it.
It's inaccessible. No.
It is. I know.
That's a big
and once again, it's like, why? We got to figure out why, and we got to fix this.
Yes, exactly. I hope someone from TikTok listens right now or gets to hear this somehow. That's
call me. I'll help you.
Yeah.
I'll help you figure it.
Call Sam.
I'll be a
TikTok
consultant. Yeah.
Do you also do consultancy work in that sense for apps or websites?
I do. Yeah. I mean, I have done that in the past. I've had game developers, you know, want help talking about accessibility in video games. That's come a long way. In fact, they just announced this title, what's it called? I forget, but one of the top video games coming out right now has all kinds of built-in accessibility for multiple disabilities, not just vision, but really, really cool screen readers built in. Very excited about that. I'm excited to see that starting to happen because traditionally video games are not very accessible. So yeah, I have done that, and I'm always happy to do that to help out if I can.
Yeah, I actually would love to hear more about the game after this, because I am super interested in how to make, you know, fun things accessible. It doesn't always have to be with like this purpose, and fun in gaming is actually super important.
Oh yeah. I've done I did a presentation the last 2 years, and one of the topics, one of my sections is talking about entertainment and how, you know, I talk about assistive technology, I talk about accessible consumer electronics like the Amazon Echo and things like that, but equally important is entertainment, video games, you know, music sharing apps, things like that, and they really need to be accessible as well.
Yeah, definitely. I have a question from Raji from India. What software do you use to edit your videos? Do you think it's possible to edit on your Android smartphone?
Anything is possible. That's number one. I edit on my computer, and actually my video that's coming out this weekend is talking about my PC setup. I use DaVinci Resolve as my editing software. It's a free editing software. It's a very powerful editing software, and it's relatively accessible if you learn the keyboard shortcuts. I'm a big fan of keyboard shortcuts. But regarding editing on Android or even editing on iOS, a smartphone or a tablet, it is possible. I mean, of course, it depends on your level of vision impairments. If you have fairly good vision, usable vision, then you're going to have an easier time doing it. I personally cannot. There's no way I could edit on a small smartphone screen. These things are tiny. I could not do that. No. But some people do, a lot of people do. And also, if you use the built-in accessibility, the screen readers or the screen magnifiers, whether it's Android's TalkBack, iOS's VoiceOver, you definitely can. I've got a buddy who has a YouTube channel, and he's completely blind, and he records and edits all of his own stuff. So it's definitely possible.
Okay, that's really good to know. And I didn't even know that there were so many options.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's really valuable. I actually got a comment from Henry Green after what we discussed about, for example, accessibility apps and tools in India. So he's an optometrist, and I never know if I pronounce this word correctly, doing low vision care for about 40 years in the US, and I've been invited in India many times.
Awesome.
And he actually says that it can be challenging, and cost may not be affordable for everyone, of course, but there are options available. So
That's
that's
good. That's
yeah.
good.
But it is true. Like, also our app, it's available in India. We have a lot of users in India. But it is different, the use of the app in India compared to the US. And you have, of course, you have to make priorities in order to keep growing. So yeah,
Right.
it's also, you have to work hard and just really make sure that you're constantly on top of all um, the things out there. Like, what is new? What do people need these days? What's happening?
Right.
Well, it's a big market, but I do think it's super valuable. Everything should be accessible everywhere. Amanda, who are your favorite YouTubers, and who would you recommend we follow?
Um, Favorite YouTubers. If we're talking about low vision, Molly Burke is probably the biggest one. She's out in California. She has RP. I don't even know how many subscribers she has at this point. It's in the 2 or 3 million subscribers now. It's insane. But I have a good friend named Derek Daniel who lives pretty close to me. His YouTube channel is called lifeaftersightloss.com. Well, I mean, his website is lifeaftersightloss.com, but that's also his YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
He lost vision in his right around college age, and or started to lose vision. So his channel kind of deals with the emotional side of vision loss. So if you're struggling with anything having to do with that, that would be a great resource. I've got a buddy who lives out in California. His name is Juan, and his YouTube channel is called JC5 Productions.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a visually impaired filmmaker, does some great shorts, short films about vision loss and things like that. And then I've got, of course, channels that I watch that don't have anything to do with vision at all. Don't have to do anything with blindness at all. Just like everybody else, I've got my guilty pleasures.
We want to hear those too. We have one or two.
Yeah, one or two. I watch a lot of tech channels. I watch a lot of art channels because I used to be a graphic artist back when I was younger, back when my eyes were a lot better. I mean, that's kind of the direction I thought my life was going, was having to do with art. And turned out I had a different calling.
Yeah, how does that feel? I mean, you are still super artistic, like creating videos all by yourself. It's very creative, and in a sense, it's art. Like, how do you feel about the difference from that kind of art to this?
It is different. I think I always loved sitting down, pencil and paper, and drawing a picture. And it was one of those things that I was really good at it, not trying to brag or anything, but you have a knack for it. Yeah. And so I always enjoyed that. I wish I could still do it. I can do it on a much larger scale, and I really want to look into digital, but I would need a really large screen. If I could do it on my big 40-inch 4K computer monitor that I have, if I could sketch on that, that would be fantastic. But I do try to make the videos a little creative, or try to put a little creativity into the videos. It's hard though, because it's just so time consuming to do that sort of thing, to add things like that. Yeah. I really enjoy photography and taking, doing the editing on my computer of my photos. This past weekend, my family and I went to a lavender farm that had this event, and we could get out there and be separated from everybody. So plenty of space. And so it was a great trip for us. And I got some great photos of my family, and coming home and just turning it from the raw photo into the finished picture with all the colors and, you know, and the blurry background and all that. I love doing that. So that's probably my most enjoyable creative outlet right now, is doing things like that.
So you can still do it. And I think that through the lens, you also mentioned something that could be created by some developer here, a big screen that you can actually use to create on.
Yes.
So if there's any developer.
Well, I was at a conference, an AT conference last year, the beginning of last year, and this company had a large tablet. It basically looked like a smartphone, but I think the width was 5 feet. So, smartphone in landscape orientation, about 5 feet wide, about 3 feet tall. So it was this huge screen, and he was doing these paintings with brushes and things, digital paintings. And I was like, oh, that's what I need right there. But I can't imagine how expensive that is.
Yeah, no.
That would be fantastic.
That would be fantastic. Yeah, I can imagine.
But I also, real quick, still touching on this, I recently put out a video where I tried to draw a picture using a wearable device, a wearable headset. And it wasn't too bad. I think with practice, I could get better at it. There's a little bit of it's difficult because when you're looking through a camera, you lose your sense of depth perception to some degree. So it's kind of hard when you're trying to put pencil to paper doing that. But like I said, I think with practice, I could have gotten a lot better. Maybe I'll have to try that with the Envision glasses.
Maybe. If you do, I would love to know if it works. That would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, bring also more fun.
Right. Well, like you said, entertainment, that's important.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. Oh yeah, sorry. Freddie asked a question. What exciting stuff could we see coming from you in the future? Any plans beyond YouTube?
Oh, is there a life beyond YouTube? I don't know. Well, right now, something that's just kind of occupying a lot of my time is creating my website. I'm finally getting around to that. People have been asking for that for years. So I'm finally getting to that. It's been a long, arduous task. I didn't think it was going to be such a pain, but we're getting there.
Website do you have videos on, or blogs, or what type of website is it?
Yeah, it'll be everything. It'll be basically the centralized home for the blind life. I've had a lot of people over the years say that they have trouble finding my videos on YouTube. So they'll be able to go to the site and search for them there. They'll be able to go there and find, you know, a list of featured videos, like my favorite videos that I've recently put out. I'm gonna have a slider there for that. Upcoming events, any conferences I'm gonna be attending, speaking engagements, something like this today, I would have put on the website so people could, you know, find out what's going on in the future. And it'll be a place that, you know, if anybody wants to work with me, they can get a hold of me there pretty easily. So that's what I'm working on right now. I think I might be in New Jersey in August for this really cool event that people here in the US might be interested in. It's surfing for vision, or surfing with vision, something like that. It's the Vision Experience Foundation does this every year, and they take blind and visually impaired people surfing in New Jersey, off the coast of New Jersey. And so I'm signed up for that. So I should be there for that. And I might be doing some other events while I'm up there in the Northeast area, New York area.
Very cool.
But that's it for right now. Like I said, you know, it's a very strange time. I should have done about 2 or 3 conferences already this year.
Yeah.
but all of that fell through, obviously.
Yeah, same for us. Honestly, I think that we would have been meeting you in person right now if it would have been for Corona.
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah. I was scheduled to do a conference in March, and I had to cancel it the week of. I canceled my trip because that's, you know, obviously when everything started going crazy.
Mhm.
And then I had another one this summer I was going to go to. So yeah, it's really put a slowdown on everybody, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Although I feel, and I don't know if how that feels for you, but I do feel that in these times you do get some extra headspace to think about other types of creativity because you cannot go out. So you get a little more headspace for other things somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's caused everybody to think differently, especially in business.
Yeah.
How do we reach our market? And it's really opened up this whole virtual space, I think, a lot.
We would have never done webinars if it wasn't for Corona.
Right, right.
Yeah, and I mean, our users really enjoy it, and people that listen in. But I also really enjoy it, and the team really likes it. They always listen in, and everyone is there. And yeah, it's really fun to do, and it's meeting people, even though you can't really see them, but still, you meet people and you have a good conversation. I really like it a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And if you want to sit here in your pajamas, you can do that.
You can do that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I have something from Thomas who's saying, have you tried painting in VR? That's an amazing thing. I really hope VR and AR become accessible.
I haven't. So I don't know why. I've been working with VR devices for years, and it never occurred to me to try and draw a picture, do a painting. I used to paint oil paintings back, 15 years ago, and it never dawned on me to try that. But I definitely will. That's probably going to be a video in the future, as I'll have to dust off all my painting gear and my equipment and see if I can do that.
Yeah, thanks, Thomas. That's a good one.
Yeah, and I'm excited for AR as well. That's really where I see a lot of the technology going. Not just VR but AR as well, augmented reality.
Yeah.
I think that has a lot of possibilities to help out the VIP community. That technology.
So I feel that AR and VR, it has been in the air for so long, but I haven't really seen anything that is actually out for customers, for the public. Is there something that you think that is apart from the games, but more business type maybe?
Well, I don't know. Google Glass tried to make a go of it, and it kind of floundered. Microsoft has one. I'm drawing a blank on the name, but that looks really, really cool. At least the videos I've seen about it. I don't know too many people that are, well, I think Microsoft is trying to develop applications for the visually impaired using AR. I don't know too many companies that are. Of course, there probably is. I can't keep up with everything, unfortunately. I do my best, but I can just myself. I can come up with a couple of scenarios that I think augmented reality would be very helpful in my everyday life.
Yeah. So we have the Envision Glass, and that's on the Google Glass, and the Google Glass is not out for general public necessarily.
Right.
And I don't feel, I pick up that like blind and visually impaired people are in this sense more early adopters, because it really helps. And for other people it might not help. It could be a cool thing to have, but
Right.
is it worth buying it now? Do I really use it? I think that's really interesting. So basically, if there is a really a good on whatever type of product, if there is a really good user case, then I think it should be explored more, because there is.
And that's that is a common theme to, or common question with technology of all kinds, but assistive technology as well, is just like you said, do I get it or do I wait? something better might come along. I get that question all the time in emails from viewers and stuff. And my philosophy is I would rather be seeing, my kids' faces right now than wait another year and see what might come out next year. Yeah. I'd rather enjoy these things now. So I say go for it.
Yeah, I gotcha. Johnson is saying Apple is rumored to be working on smart glasses with a strong AR focus. That could be great.
Yes. I saw something about Apple's smart glasses, but the little teaser, I guess it was, that I saw said it wasn't going to have a camera and it wasn't going to have speakers. It was just going to be just the screen and notifications and things like that. So maybe they've changed since I saw that. It would be really nice. Like I said, I think it could be, I think AR could be really, really helpful.
Yeah, because if it would have what you would want it to have, you would wear it.
I would. And that's another thing. It's like, I got this email the other day where, or no, it was a comment. Someone said for one of my videos for wearable VR style device, and they said this looks ridiculous, I would never wear this out in public. And I responded, I said, I actually own this device and I've worn it out in public many times. I've taken it to concerts, I've taken it to the theater to see people down on the stage, I've taken it to sporting events. I took it, I did a whole vacation in New York City, and I wore my headset and took it to the museums and Central Park and looking at the Statue of Liberty. I would rather enjoy seeing these things than worry what some stranger says about me or thinks about me. I could care less. I'm having a great time. I'm seeing stuff that I wouldn't be able to see normally, so they can think whatever they want to.
It's about you.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. Because we have a lot of people also asking, but what does it look like? And I think it's a very, very valid question, because if you have, the Google Glass on, it feels a certain way. You have to feel comfortable with it. But what is it, if it feels good to you and it works and it helps you in every different way, do you care what it looks like?
Yeah. And the benefit of those too is they look more normal, like a pair of glasses, than these giant VR things.
Yeah, true. That's true. But still, I'd rather be happy than worrying too much about those things.
Right.
Yeah. I have one more if you still have time.
Sure, absolutely.
It's about content creation again. Do you think content creators, this is actually a good one, should stay apolitical or issue their platform to raise awareness on issues?
Ooh, that is a good question.
That is a really good question.
I think that's definitely a personal decision. Everybody's going to be different. Mm-hmm. My personal opinion on it for my own channel is there's certain things that I don't feel like it needs to be on my channel. Excuse me. Number one is negativity, right? I've had people say, well, you're only making videos about the nice things, or you only talk about the positive side of vision impairment. You never talk about the negative side. And I say, yeah, exactly. Because I don't want to hear that stuff. I don't want to watch a video and hear negativity. So why would I want it on my channel? I'm going to focus on the positive side or the ridiculous. So, but also political stuff and religious stuff, I don't put on my channel because, and just in general, in my own personal life, I tend not to talk about those things because there's such, people feel so strongly about those topics that, it's easy to get into arguments and conflicting views and philosophies and all this kind of stuff. So I just don't want to deal with it. I would rather, once again, focus on the positive. There's plenty of stuff we could talk about. We don't need to talk about that stuff. It's difficult right now because that's everything that's in the media right now. But the other thing is, if that's the general theme of your channel, absolutely go for it. There's plenty of channels that are like that. Yeah. You do have to be careful with on YouTube, because they will like demonetize those channels if it has certain sensitive content. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like I said, ultimately it comes down to personal preference. I've seen a lot of people the past 2 weeks here in the US put out content specifically about the protests and everything that's going on, and just kind of like taking a break from their normal content and saying, hey, you know, this is how I feel about it. Mm-hmm. And I totally respect that. I haven't done it, it's just a personal choice. I just, so I don't know. It's a difficult decision, I think, one way or the other.
Yeah, you were talking about staying true to you, and if that feels better, then that's what you should do.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's actually also a good one. It's a little bit related. It's related to negativity, because how do you deal with haters, trollers, people leaving negative comments on your YouTube channel?
I'm very fortunate that I don't get too many over the years. I've had some, though, that's for sure. Yeah. Luckily, well, one thing to note is, if you're going to be on YouTube creating content on any social media platform, you need to have a thick skin, because people, when they know they're anonymous, alone behind their keyboard, tapping away, they can be very vicious. So just don't let it get to you. Number one, you know, I know my worth. I know what I bring to the community and all that. So it doesn't bother me. One comment, very popular comment that we as visually impaired content creators get is, you don't look blind, or you're not blind, or you know, things like that. Mm-hmm. Or they think we're faking it, pretending to be blind just to get the attention. I've gotten that since I was a kid, actually. And it's very funny, because, you know, if anybody watches one of my videos, 99.9% of the time, I'm not looking directly at the camera. I'm looking off to the right, or my right, because I guess left, because that's where my blind spot is. And if I want to see the actual camera, I have to look off to the side, because I don't have any central vision. Yeah. So, you know, you can tell just by looking at me that something's going on there. Something's not right. So, but like I said, you know, I've had to block people sometimes off my channel. It's not something I do very, you know, I don't choose to do that very easily. I don't want to block anybody, but sometimes they're just very, very negative, or negative towards me or towards other people in the community. So I have to block them. But, you know, it's like I said, you just roll with the punches. You just keep on going, and don't worry about it. Haters are going to hate.
Yeah, well put. Yeah, that's true. I think, yeah, you just, it's in everything. There's always something negative. Not everyone can love you. That's the way it is. So yeah, just do it.
Yeah, you can't please all the people all the time, right? That's what they say.
Yeah, it's what it is. One last question from Trisha, we discussed just now too. Is there a way that I could be a tester of different technologies? If so, how do I get about doing that? Do you have an idea?
Yeah, absolutely. I've given this, you know, I've gotten this question before too. If there's certain devices that you want to test, well, I mean, we should clarify if they mean, you know, doing like product reviews on YouTube and having companies send you products, versus this is my job. I work for a company testing out their new prototypes and things like that. If it's the latter, then I say, get in touch with that company. You know, if you are profoundly visually impaired and you read Braille and you use, you know, a Braille note taker or some kind of Braille device, then contact one of these companies that makes these things and say, you know, hey, I'd like to be a beta tester, or, you know, just get your foot in the door with the company. Go to a convention and talk with the company representatives directly. If you are the former, if you want to review products online, you really need to build up your viewer base first. Usually companies won't look at you until you've got a certain number of subscribers and they know that it's worth their while to feature their product on your channel. Mm-hmm. But and then start reaching out to companies. You know, don't be afraid to, you see something that you want to review, write an email to the company, send them a tweet on Twitter. Yeah. You know, I've done that before and gotten success that way. Just let them know what you do, what kind of value you can bring to their company. And by featuring the product on the channel or your Instagram story or whatever it is. And eventually you send out enough of those, somebody will respond. And
to be honest, at Envision, we're always super happy to hear from people that want to test. Because it's so important to test and test and test and make sure everything works properly. So it's super valuable. I think we have Trisha live, don't we?
Yes.
Yes. Hi, Trisha. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys? I'm not being able to undo to turn on my video right now, so I apologize. But Sam, you are an inspiration to my family. Like I said, I'm one of 6 kids, 4 out of the 6 of us. But I have had Stargard's. I'm almost 61, and I've had it for 50 years. So I'm very familiar with low vision and all that, you know, has been going on. I really would love the opportunity. Unfortunately, I just left a job that I loved, just different circumstances. But I would love the opportunity to test some of the new technology for low vision, because my kids are grown and married. You know, I live at home. I need something to occupy my time, especially with COVID, you know, and being home a lot. And my husband's great, but you know, so I just,
but you know, sometimes you just need to do something for yourself.
Yes, I need to. I've got to keep busy, you know, and so I would love the opportunity to be able to try things out and give my opinion as a low vision, because out of the 4 of us kids in my family, my vision is definitely the worst. And you know, but I mean, I'm very thankful for different technologies I do have, but I know there's so much out there. I'd love the opportunity to be able to try.
Well, yeah, you could definitely, you know, reach out to some of these companies, especially companies like Low Vision International. They have a lot of products. Freedom Scientific, you know, or Vispero, the umbrella company that owns all of them. Reach out to them and see if they have some kind of program, beta testing program. You could definitely reach out to one of the organizations like National Federation of the Blind, American Council of the Blind. You know, I know people that have got full-on paid jobs with these companies just by, you know, reaching out and getting connected and being pushy, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. You know, like you said, you gotta get yourself out there, and definitely I will definitely do that. What was the very first company that you said?
Low Vision International, LVI. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, great.
And you had said, you said you lived in Texas, right? What part of Texas?
I live in the Dallas area,
Okay, because there might even be like a Chicago, or not Chicago, excuse me. There might be a lighthouse there.
There's one.
You know, you could reach out to them because they probably have an AT department that's, you know, get connected with them. I mentioned that I was an assistive technology trainer for a couple of years. I started that position by volunteering. I went to the office and I volunteered a couple hours a week, and that led me into a paid position. So, you know, you never know. Okay. You never know what might happen.
Right, exactly. Well, thank you. That's great. And I will contact the Dallas Lighthouse for the Blind and kind of start there and then check that other one also.
Sure, yeah.
So thank you. I appreciate your advice.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure.
Cool. Thank you so much, Trisha, for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Sam, I think our time is up.
All righty.
All right. Goes so fast.
I know it does.
It really does. No, I could go on and on. I really want to thank you for your time, for what you shared with us, for your advice. What I basically picked out, what I love the most is just go and start and do things if you want to. I think
Yeah.
you're valuable, and love your chanting. We'll be following you. We'll just keep on following you, of course. And everyone who listened in, super thanks too. We'll make sure to share the recording of this. Sam, any last words?
Yeah, well, I just want to reiterate, like you said, go get going, start something. That doesn't just necessarily apply to a YouTube channel or something like that. I mean, it applies to everything in life. With living with vision impairment, we have a lot of doubts just in ourselves. Can I do it? Am I going to be able to do this? And it could be something simple as going grocery shopping by yourself for the first time. Am I going to be able to do it? So that's my philosophy, is you never know unless you try. Yeah. So, and oftentimes you will surprise yourself, and afterwards you'll be like, yeah, that was easy. I'm glad I did it. So get out there and do it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sam. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
All right. Talk soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.